made us realize how vulnerable we are, because we have a lot of workers coming every day from the three sides of the country.
Good morning, delighted to be joined in the studio by the Deputy Prime Minister, who is also the Minister for Health and Minister for Consumer Protection, Paulette. Lenert, good morning.
Good morning.
How are you doing this morning?
Fine. It's a brilliant weekend that we had, so I feel quite well.
I know, Luxembourg Summit is here.
Yes, summer has arrived and elections are over for part one of this year, so it feels like a step forward.
Now, interesting you say that step forward, because there's a bit of a contradiction, isn't there? Because I know that in the polls before this election, you were considered the most popular politician, but your party, the LSAP, struggled, didn't they? It
didn't really struggle, you know. We went into the elections with less candidates than last time, but we did nearly just as good as last time. So to me, it's a good result, especially because our young candidates have been confirmed. So I can sense this renewal we went for was the right thing to do. We did really well in some parts of the country, and globally, considering that we had less candidates, I'm quite happy with the result.
Now, I know it's not been formally announced yet, but it looks likely that you'll be top of the list for the party. In the context of these results, do you see a pathway for you to win and become possibly Prime Minister?
Well, that's the election that will tell us, but yes, I can. Our analysis of the elections is now that people just go for having a new mindset in LSAP, a new team coming up. So yeah, I still believe in this. Yes, that's what I go for.
I mean, of course, the whole PR system is it's new for me as an international voter. I voted for the first time. When we get to November, clearly you're hoping and banking on people choosing you.
Choosing my party, it's a team, and LSAP has been in government for a long time, and we stand for values, for solidarity, for leaving no one behind. So I think our values are of great interest, especially to young people nowadays, with all the crises we have, and that's what we hope for, that people will just adhere to this program and to the team we will come up with.
Now, we can't let you sit here without talking about health. We've had 3 of the craziest years for all of Europe to deal with. And I actually personally benefited from some of the really excellent parts of the system. Firstly, do you feel the system is working well, and in what ways would you like to see it innovate in the years to come?
Well, there have been a lot of challenges for our system over the last years. There's the pandemic, yes, but there's also an enormous growth in population in Luxembourg. We have been grown by 25% in 10 years, and that's just enormous. You can't find this anywhere else in Europe. So there are really a lot of challenges to keep up with the offer to the supply. But it has been strong because we have been comparing to other countries. We did survive, and we survived quite well in a comparative way. So there's a good starting point, and we have a lot of ideas. We have been consulting a lot as soon as the pandemic was over. I spent a lot of effort in consulting different actors in order to see what are the key drivers to keep the system competitive and accessible to everybody. That's our main goal, just to keep it as it is, a system that is based on solidarity, where everybody has really access to good health supply.
I mean, just when you look back over these past 3 years, are there any particular moments that stand out and you think, oh my goodness, this was stressful?
Oh, it was stressful when the borders were to be closed, and they were partially, so that was really a threat on Luxembourg, and it made us realize how vulnerable we are, because we have a lot of workers coming every day from the 3 sides of the country. And that's something that was really the most threatful during the whole pandemic, to see how easily we could be cut off our blood, I would say. The country couldn't survive without the cross-border workers.
No, absolutely. Now, another topic which is high on the agenda for lots of normal citizens at the moment is the cost of living crisis that we're going through. How do we sort of navigate this high inflation and at the same time maintain Luxembourg's generous social model?
Well, we have to be smart in investing. So obviously we pass a crisis, and what we have done during the pandemic, also during last year is just to seek to strengthen every actors in order to have a perfect rebound, ideally earlier than other countries. And I still believe in this innovative power we have here in Luxembourg. We can be very pragmatic, and I just believe that if we do the right investments now and we give the right help to go through this difficult period, we will be there with a wonderful rebound again. So that's our dynamic. Luxembourg is known to be to have an innovative spirit and mindset, and if we can keep up with this and just stay competitive for companies and for people, because we are attractive for companies. Even during the pandemic, companies choose Luxembourg to set up their business. And if we keep up being attractive for the people we need to make all this work, that they choose Luxembourg as their country, I think we can do it, and we just can keep both. We can just pass the difficult times and just maintain the level we have on social issues.
You mentioned quite a few buzzwords there, including maintaining competitiveness. But if we are going to maintain our competitiveness, we have to keep sort of wages under control. That's a difficult issue, isn't it?
It is a difficult issue because it has two parts of the medal, you know. Everybody is lacking talent now in Europe. That's the big buzzword as well. So I think wages are also a factor to attract people. If you have security in the country, you have good housing conditions, and that's an issue as well here in Luxembourg. If you have good school facilities, because we have a lot of different nationalities coming over to Luxembourg, so we need to have this offer. But wages as well are just an argument. So I think it has really the two sides of the medal. Being attractive means also guaranteeing good wages, guaranteeing peace. You know, you don't have to negotiate all the time here. If things are clear, this gives stability, adds stability to the country. So I think there's a point of getting them at a good level and keeping them there as well in terms of attraction.
I mean, you mentioned housing, but we just don't have enough housing, do we? There's all this demand and not enough supply.
Yeah.
How do we solve that?
Yes, there we will come up. That's really, to me, it's really a crisis as well. We really have to come in from the public side and just try to leverage on housing, just to invest more in renting houses that will be owned publicly and be rented out according to social criteria. That's a real issue. So I'm really happy that all the parties are just really reflecting on this and sitting together, and there as well. I think Luxembourg will be able to come up with solutions in the short time. I mean, we really need them. It's the key issue. You know, if you talk about the expense to live here, housing is just a big part of it. Yeah.
I mean, it's interesting to hear you say that, because sometimes when I watch political debates, I feel like all the parties agree. Is the challenge for you to be distinctive enough?
It really depends on the means. We all agree on the problems. I think they are obvious. Now, when it comes to getting to the solutions, we just have to find a common understanding of what are the best solutions. But it does not shock me that when you have a real issue in a country that the parties might agree on that, because that somehow it should even be the case. If we have a common problem, it makes sense that everybody is reflecting on this problem and just tries to make its best to come up with the good solution. So I'm just happy to hear other people as well coming up with ideas, because we should not fight on this. We should just join our efforts and join our reflections in order to come up with the right solutions altogether.
And if we were having this conversation in November, is your best guess for what we will be looking at a coalition with the same sort of colours, but perhaps with you at the top?
The best guess for me obviously would be with me on the top. That's what I go for. But it all depends really on the programs. I think it's much too early to set coalitions. Up to now we work well. We have been a good team during the pandemic, but I would not prejudice on this. I mean, it's open. It's a democracy, and let us just wait what the people say. It's their vote, and we have to adapt to that.
Thank you very much. That was Paulette Lenert, Deputy Prime Minister. Thank you.
Thank you.